Gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon here tonight with the AEW Dynamite review. There we go. We are on right now. This is your AEW Dynamite review here with Joseph Conlon with Wesley Williams on Wednesday night, September 8th, 2021. Um, of course, like I said, I am here with Wesley Williams. Dynamite was tonight from Cincinnati, Ohio, and they were a hot crowd. I think that was a sold out crowd in Cincinnati. I'm not so sure, but they were a really great crowd tonight, and we had a great follow up from a really historic and impactful pay per view. And you can just feel it, Wes. Around the wrestling world, All Out was an impactful pay per view in many ways, I feel like.
Absolutely. I mean, people are still talking about how amazing that night was. I mean, you got people on Twitter saying it was the best pay per view they've ever watched in their entire lives. To say, and including you, Mr. Joseph Conlon,
Yeah.
and have that high of praise. I mean, that says a lot about AEW and the product they're giving to their fans and they're giving to the world of professional wrestling. I mean, there's a new sheriff in town and it is all elite wrestling. And the people out there who still want to doubt and still want to, call AEW nothing but a t-shirt company, folks. It's way more than that, and you're gonna have to get used to it because AEW is here to stay. They are the new pioneers of professional wrestling, and I mean WWE ain't the only destination anymore. It's like Mick Foley came out with a little video the other day, telling WWE we've got a problem, and he let WWE know firsthand, y'all ain't the only place in town anymore. There's another sheriff. There's a new sheriff in town, and it's all elite wrestling, and everybody seems to be going there now. And Joseph, we're hearing all more and more news about these contracts with WWE.
We're gonna get to that.
And we're
Yep.
gonna get to that. But man, it's wild, man. It's just a wild time. I mean, I can seriously not remember ever in my entire life a crazier time in professional wrestling than right now. And man, I'm just again, I've been saying it so much. I'm enjoying every second of it. I mean, I'm just sitting back, relaxing, enjoying the ride while I can. AEW Dynamite tonight and live in Cincinnati, Ohio, live in Moxley's town. It was a great show tonight, man. The segments were on point. I mean, look at that, repping the hometown hero right there, Joseph Conlon. I gotta rep my boy Johnny Wrestling tonight over in NXT. Love me some Johnny Gargano. But Cincinnati, Ohio tonight, you were red hot. And that's what I love about AEW crowds, man. A red hot crowd. You get that. You get that most weeks if you're not Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But just about every week, you get a hot crowd, man. That's what you love to see. People are excited to see professional wrestling, not sports entertainment, professional wrestling, and that's what we got tonight, and that's what we're going to be getting way more going forward.
I have to say this: the in-ring action tonight on this show, very good, very good in-ring action. I will not lie. My favorite match was the opening match. I'll get to that why in a sec. But what really stood out tonight, what made this show great, was those three segments with Punk, MJF, and the segment with the Elite and Bryan Danielson. All three of those segments were phenomenal in a different way. Those three segments were absolutely phenomenal stuff, and we're gonna get to those segments because I'm sure when we get to those three segments, we are gonna have a lot to say. But folks, before we get into the official review, if you have not already, be sure to check out the All Out review. Very important. That is at 118 views on the channel. I appreciate everybody who want to go check out myself and Wesley Williams' thoughts on one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen, if not the best pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life. Be sure to go check out that review if you have not already. And we uploaded a short preview for tomorrow night's season opener with the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. So if you have not already, be sure to go check that out as well. And we got some major news. According to, at first it was, I believe, Ringside News. Then it got out to Cassidy Haynes at bodyslam.net, and then it got out to the big sources with Sean Ross Sapp and Andrew Zarian. Kevin Owens' WWE contract is set to expire in January of 2022. And right before Dynamite, I was reading stuff that Andrew Zarian got a message from somebody at WWE saying, with the things he's been posting for the last 24 hours on his social media, we're expecting Kevin Owens not to re-sign his contract and leave the WWE. And one of those big teases was on the Young Bucks Twitter account. They changed their location to there, and Kevin Owens changed his location to almost there. So that's indicating that he's almost in AEW. And we're now seeing the tides changing. I feel like half the roster in WWE wants to get the hell out of there. Not everybody can go to AEW on that roster, but if you're looking at a Kevin Owens, okay, I love Kevin Owens. I feel like, in my honest opinion, I could be wrong about this, but this guy should be a multiple-time WWE champion. The fact that he's been Universal Champion once, and if you really think about it, he's been a mid-card wrestler ever since then, and never won a world title after that. I don't care that he feuded with Roman Reigns for 3 months. That's fine. But he was never going to beat Roman Reigns. He was a filler. He's an interim for Roman Reigns for 3 months. But you honestly can't sit there and tell me that you don't want to see Kevin Owens in AEW. Now, I get it. AEW's roster now, with the addition of Ruby Soho, CM Punk, Danielson, Cole, their roster's ginormous. Their roster is fucking loaded beyond belief. And it's not even close. They have the best roster in the world. And you might disagree with me with this, Wes, but there is going to come a time where their roster is going to get so big that you cannot sign all these people, because then you'll get people who's creatively frustrated, not getting TV time, all that stuff. There comes a time where you can't be signing everybody. But you mean to tell me that if you have a guy like Kevin Owens just sitting out there in the free agent market waiting to do something, are you telling me that you're just gonna, you know what? We don't need Kevin Owens. We're good. No. You're going to sign somebody like Kevin Owens because he's freaking incredible on the microphone when he's allowed to be. And he's a great professional wrestler as well. So if and when Kevin Owens leaves WWE, I expect him to be all elite in 2022. And that is going to be a great fitting for him, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's again, man, it's just crazy times of professional wrestling, and it was originally thought that Kevin Owens' contract would be up in 2023, but it seems as if WWE was restructuring a lot of people's contracts during the pandemic, and so we got a lot of people who probably got contracts coming up sooner than we expected. I mean, and it's funny. Everybody's just cracking jokes about WWE, like they just can't seem to keep up with anybody's contract. I mean, you got Malachi Black, who his 30-day no compete was not extended to 90 days, which is why he appeared on Dynamite the day that he did. And then you got Adam Cole, whose contract came up sooner than WWE even expected. They didn't even realize Adam Cole's contract was coming up as soon as it did. And now here we are with Kevin Owens. His contract's up in January 2022. I mean, that is only a few months away, Joseph. We are really close to a possible Kevin Steen return, and it could very well happen in AEW. But Joseph, I completely agree with you. You can't get everybody. I mean, AEW, and I'm sure they're being very smart about it. They're using their resources wisely. But I mean, it's like you said, Joseph. I mean, you have a guy like Kevin Owens out there that is just free to take, and you're not going to take him. I mean, I look at Kevin Owens. WWE career. And yeah, he won the Universal title, and that was a great moment. But what have they done with Kevin Owens ever since that whole run? And besides, his run ended with Bill Goldberg. What does that tell you about WWE and their mind on the current product? You know, it's amazing how that was like 4 years ago, and now here we are 4 years later, and they still got Goldberg in the main event picture in their company. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. And more should have been done with Kevin Owens. I'm not saying his run with WWE has been a complete failure, but they should have done a lot more with this guy. I mean, you have one of the best talkers, one of the best pro wrestlers in the entire world with Kevin Owens, and yet you lay this guy in mid-card purgatory in the company. It's sickening. It really is. And you could say the same thing about so many other men and women in that company that aren't being used to their fullest potential. And I even seen something from Angel Garza yesterday where all he tweeted was a time capsule and the little the two eyes emoji where it's
how about Sami Zayn?
Sami Zayn, yeah, I don't know how true this might be, but I think his contract might be up in the fall of this year, which the fall is right about to come up. We're literally at the end of summer. I mean, another guy like Sami Zayn, who's been completely underutilized his entire WWE career. I mean, this is a guy who was at one point the top babyface, not only in NXT, but the top babyface probably in pro wrestling during his run in NXT. Had one of the greatest matches in NXT history with Shinsuke Nakamura and TakeOver Dallas in 2016. And then he comes to the main roster and he's treated like a joke. They gave him the Intercontinental title, but what all did he really do with it? It wasn't really a meaningful reign when you look back at it. I mean, who's going to remember Sami Zayn Intercontinental title reign when you really look at it? I mean, Sami Zayn should have always. There were so many opportunities, so many times you could have pulled the trigger with Sami Zayn. I mean, the biggest part of his main roster one was that he had that one match with John Cena on Monday Night Raw. And unfortunately he got injured during that match. But that right there was a crowning moment for Sami Zayn, and John Cena almost of a passing the torch when he's doing the U.S. Open Challenge, which was one of the best things, probably the best thing for that entire title. I mean, because that whole entire run with John Cena with the U.S. Open Challenges were so amazing to watch. And it really should have been a passing of the torch moment, booking the future stars of pro wrestling. But instead, WWE looked at it as, nah, we're going to treat a lot of these guys, or if not all of them, like crap. We're going to job them out to either Roman Reigns, Bill Goldberg, you name it. It's always jobbing them out to somebody else. And meanwhile, they could have been used way more. But, I mean, AEW, it's the new cool place to be. I mean, WWE is not the place to go anymore. Even if it's been your lifelong dream to work in WWE. I mean, how many wrestlers do you really think want to work in WWE in 2021? I don't think there's many people that want to do that, seeing as how everything is chaotic. All the reports you hear about how chaotic it is backstage, how Vince McMahon's ripping up scripts left and right before Monday Night Raw. I mean, who wants to work in an environment like that? I certainly wouldn't. Then I look over in AEW and, maybe not everything's perfect, of course, but you look over at AEW, I see nothing but praise when you work in AEW and all the backstage talk, like, and everybody's just a family. Everybody's one big happy family. We're all high-fiving, hugging each other, wishing each other a great job. It's like, why wouldn't you want to work in an environment that great? It's just, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I don't even know what kind of roster WWE will even have left by the time we get to the end of 2021, or we get to the end of like 2022 or something, because I feel like all they really have left is probably Roman Reigns, maybe Drew McIntyre, Goldberg, and Bobby Lashley. Yeah, that literally, those four names are like the top of my head. Is like, that will probably be their entire men's roster by the end of like 2022 or something. I mean, things are changing drastically, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, Rollins is another one as well, because he ain't suit. But I want to say something real quick, and then we'll get into the show. I'm on Twitter right now, and I'm reading a tweet from WrestleVotes earlier today, and how sad is this, bro? Like, this is just ridiculous. WrestleVotes tweeted, at this point, the most interesting news in WWE is going to be who actually stays when their contract is up. It's quite sad, man, and it's not you don't hear rumors of so and so's contract is going to re-sign for another 3 years. No, it's so-and-so's contract is coming up this month, this year, and he's more than likely going to leave. Meanwhile, over in AEW, Britt Baker just signed an extension. MJF just signed an extension. Scorpio Sky just signed a 5-year extension with AEW. These people are here to stay for a long time, and that joke that Vince McMahon made on that conference call, it's coming to bite him in the ass. It's coming to bite you in the ass, old man. You can talk about how, oh, uh, well, let's give him more talent or whatever he said. Giving AEW more talent. Yeah, you gave them Ruby Soho, Malachi Black, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson. They're about to get Bray Wyatt because it's coming. It's coming with what happened tonight, and possibly Kevin Steen, Kill, is going to come to AEW. Pretty much after that, your roster's set, man. It's so exciting. It's so exciting, man. It really is. What a time to be a fan. It really is.
It's just wild, yeah, it's sad for WWE. I mean, it's their loss in AEW's gain. Of course, they can't get everybody, and they're not gonna sign everybody. You got all these other
Tony Khan's not an idiot.
Right. Tony Khan, he's a smart businessman. At the end of the day, Tony Khan's a businessman. That's what that's the biggest thing about Tony Khan. He's a businessman. He's the one who runs the operations within AEW. He's the guy on top, and so he knows, who should be signed and who should we maybe let go to this place. Because you think about it, there's other promotions out there. It's not just AEW and WB. You got Impact, you got New Japan, you got Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor is back. You got PWG that's back. You got all these promotions out coming back, all these indie promotions out, booking dates, and all these wrestlers, becoming available to work at any time. And it's so any wrestler can go anywhere, really. It's just, but if you're looking at WWE, why would you even look at them at this point unless you're not even you have no desire to, excel as a professional wrestler. If you just want to go out there and be a clown, then go right ahead, go to WWE and go be put on TV for 3 hours on Raw or 2 hours on SmackDown and just be treated like a joke. Look at Jeff Hardy, man. Jeff Hardy was trending on Monday because he was chasing after the 24/7 title. And that is somebody who desperately needs to go to AEW. And I know Matt Hardy, I know he wants it. Matt Hardy has made it clear he wants Jeff in AEW. And I certainly wouldn't mind one last Hardy Boys run if you ask me.
Not me neither, man. I didn't even watch Raw on Monday, and I tweeted it out on Monday. I plan on taking a break from WWE television for quite a while. When that is, I don't know, but outside of pay-per-views, of course. But I feel I don't need WWE anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody's just in the same mindset as us, and we got a lot of friends in the community that agree with us that. WWE just ain't in anymore, man. We're fed up. We're done. If we're gonna keep be given a product that we're just gonna look at and be like, man, what is this crap? Why are we being given this to us? This is not what we want. And meanwhile, we look over here. Oh, what's this? All Elite Wrestling? What's this? Dynamite, Rampage? Oh, I like that. Wait, logical booking. Whoa, hold up. That makes sense. That's crazy. I haven't seen. So many people are waking up and smelling the roses, and the people who have been disenchanted for so many years, they're coming back. Why is that? Because of AEW. It's not because of WWE. Forget WWE. It's about AEW.
Damn right, man. Damn right. So that's our talk about Kevin Owens and his contract expiring. We have not really heard major news on Sami Zayn, so we're not going to get deep into that because I don't want to get ahead of myself. But Kevin Owens is being reported by multiple sources, and I thought it'd be a nice topic to touch on before we got into the show. But this Dynamite opened up tonight with Dustin Rhodes one-on-one against Malachi Black. Man, he is awesome, man. Before we talk about this match, I'm realizing every time I see Malachi Black in a match, that thing on his left eye is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Is it? Where is this leading to? I'm quite curious.
Yeah, I have no idea, man. I trust I trust AEW and I trust Malachi Black and his creative direction that this is going to lead to something that I think we're all going to be very excited for. And I'm loving Malachi Black, man. I mean, the more I see him, the more I'm like, man, WB missed out huge on this guy. My gosh, man. I mean, he looks like $1,000,000 out there every time he steps foot in that ring. And tonight was no different with Dustin Rhodes, man. This was a really solid opening match. Dustin Rhodes, it's amazing, man. 52 years old, it's Dustin Rhodes. He's still moving really well in that ring, man. You love to see it. And he did a solid job in the ring with Malachi Black. But of course, I think we all knew the end result of this match. But yeah, I want to bring this up again because he did this in the match against Lee Johnson on Rampage. I love the little teasing that Malachi Black does. He tosses something at one of Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Family members. And he just looks at him like, "You go do something about it. I dare you to do something." Like with Lee Johnson, he tossed the chair at him. "Go ahead, hit me. I'm right here. Hit me with the chair." Then he reeled him in, and then a black mass. He did the same exact thing tonight with Dustin Rhodes. He takes Cody's boot, the boot that Cody left in the middle of the ring. Malachi took it as a little souvenir. Comes in, tosses it at Dustin. He's like, "What are you going to do now? What are you going to do?" And then he comes back up, and then another black mass eaten by another member of the Nightmare Family. Man, I love it. I love it. The little details like that will always go a long way with the character and the portrayal and how it evolves over time, man. And this was just great stuff. I love little details like that. But solid way to get us going here on Dynamite tonight. And I guess we might as well go ahead and talk about here. Malachi Black will be facing Cody Rhodes, second matchup at Arthur Ashe on September 22nd. Go ahead and get my prediction out there. Malachi Black must win again. He must win for a second time. No Cody Rhodes getting his win back. None of that. Malachi Black has to win for a second time.
Yeah, this match was great. I love this match. This was a great match. The match started off fast and furious. Lots of brawling in the ring. They got on the outside. Malachi Black Irish whips Dustin into the ring post, and then freaking 6 minutes into the show, and Dustin Rhodes is going through a table. Like, this show starting off wild, man. You love it. You just love the excitement. But so after that, pretty much the match is just slowed down to a methodical pace. This couple they told a couple stories. I thought they told a great story in this match. Malachi was wearing Dustin down, kicking his knee, wearing down his left knee, and then, like you said, later on in the match, Malachi Black goes underneath the ring and he grabs the boot of Cody Rhodes that he got on that homecoming show 1 month ago, and Dustin sees it, and it makes him even more angrier, and it fuels him up, and he gets a couple clotheslines on Malachi. He gets a destroyer in on Malachi, and Tony Schiavone, I think it was, sold this really well. He sold the destroyer really well. He's like, man, if Dustin hit that destroyer, that would have been a huge upset against Malachi Black. So I like the way they sold that on commentary. And then the turnbuckle pad was off. Dustin was going for a bulldog. Malachi countered. He Irish whipped Dustin into the turnbuckle, which Dustin's head hit the turnbuckle. Dustin was wobbling all over the place. Malachi Black hit the black mass. Didn't quite connect with Dustin. It hit him in the shoulder. But commentary, that came off well on commentary too, with Taz saying that, Dustin was wobbly, so Malachi Black couldn't get all of that. But really, Dustin was knocked out once his head hit the turnbuckle. And then, of course, Malachi Black got the win. And I believe he took Cody Rhodes' boot with him, right?
I believe so. Yeah, just the little details, man. I love those little details.
Yeah. I love this match. This match was great. This match felt old school as well. I don't know about you, but I thought, man, this was an old school type of match once the match was over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is a great way to kick us off here in Cincinnati, man. And one by one, Malachi Black is just taking out each and every single member of the Nightmare family until he eventually reaches Cody once again at Arthur Ashe on the 22nd. And again, Malachi Black must win for a second time. Mark my words.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. CM Punk, the best in the world. He came out. Cincinnati got a huge CM Punk chant. Loud ovation. CM Punk gets on the microphone and he immediately thanks Sting and Darby Allin. He put over a lot of people in this segment, and you love to see it. He put over Sting and Darby Allin. He put over the Cincinnati crowd. He put over Ruby Soho and Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. And then you had Linda Pillman Jr. sitting in the front row, and he put her over, gave her a hug after the segment was over, and he's like, when I went to the back, I texted my wife, and his wife was like, "What's next?" And he asked the crowd, and you just hear Taz in the background. He's like, "Hurry up! I need a microphone. Give me a microphone real quick." So he got up on commentary. He was on commentary tonight because Excalibur is getting ready for a wedding soon, I think. So much congratulations to Excalibur on that. Taz got on the mic. He's like, "All right, enough of the bullshit. Enough of the what do they call? Enough of the fanfare with the fans. We need to get right to the business. You better not say that you want to face Team Taz in your mouth." He said, "I never said I wanted to face Team Taz to these." He said, "These people never said Team Taz that they wanted to face CM Punk." He said, "Yeah, but you did. You did, Punk, on interviews saying you want to face Hobbs and Starks. And I'm telling you, that's not a good decision." And CM Punk was like, "Well, you know, give me Ricky Starks. Give me Hook. Give me Hobbs." He's like, "Taz, beat me if you can. Survive if I let you." And Hobbs was out there with Hook, and he's staring at Powerhouse Hobbs, and this segment was great. I love this segment. I love the fact that CM Punk is feuding with Team Taz, and I loved it because um, during the pandemic this year, Team Taz was in probably one of the biggest storylines in AEW at that time against Sting and Darby Allin, and I feel like after that period, they've cooled down a lot. And for this, I feel like this will do wonders for them. This will get them heat that they need. This will get them television. This will get them more television time. And this is going to do wonders for both Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, because I do think that both of them are going to have matches against CM Punk. Whenever that happens, um, I don't know, but I love the fact that they got CM Punk working with the young guys. He started with Darby Allin. Now it's Team Taz with Hobbs and um, Ricky Starks, and now it seems like Brian Pillman Jr. is getting a little bit of a singles push, and I wouldn't be surprised if sooner rather than later AEW does Brian Pillman versus CM Punk, because that was on Punk's dream list. So I thought this was a great segment. We got Punk's new feud. He is feuding with Team Taz, and personally, I have no problem with that at all. Tony Khan, you can sign me up, my friend.
Yeah, this definitely was one of the multiple awesome segments on tonight's show. And now we know what's next for CM Punk, and it is Team Taz, whether it be Powerhouse Hobbs, whether it be Ricky Starks, or whether it be the secret weapon Hook. Who knows, man? But But I'm looking forward to this. And, Punk did mention that Hobbs is one of the guys he wanted to go one-on-one with. I believe he also mentioned Starks in that same answer. And so where I think first off we'll probably get, since Powerhouse Hobbs is ranked high in the top 5 rankings, I believe he's number 2 right now. I believe we'll get Punk and Hobbs first. And then maybe for the pay-per-view for Full Gear in November, maybe, or maybe sooner than that, we'll get Punk versus Starks one-on-one. Starks seems like he's finishing up things with Brian Cage at the moment. It looks like they're going to do one more match between both of those guys. Maybe that could happen at Arthur Ashe on the 22nd. We'll see what happens there. But I believe after that, we're going to get Punk and Starks. And, man, I'm looking forward to both matchups, man. Punk versus Hobbs, Punk versus Starks. Heck, man, I mean, why not do Punk versus Hook? I don't know. I wouldn't care and be like, you know what? Hook's first match in AEW against CM Punk. I mean, my goodness, man. But I don't know. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen. But hey, why not though? But it's great though, man. I love seeing CM Punk working with the younger talent. And yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe after this we'll get Punk and Brian Pillman. And I mean, it's just great to see Punk come on into AEW and just working with all this fresh young talent, man. And he sees all the potential in the world and all this young talent, man. It's just awesome to see. All these matchups, all these dream matchups that we've been thinking about for so long, thinking it probably would never happen, and now we're most likely getting it with the stacked roster that AEW has now, man. It's just wonderful to see.
Yeah, could you see a tag match with Punk and Brian Cage against Hobbs and Starks?
I could possibly see that. That could very well happen. I'm not sure what you're going to do with Brian Cage after all this stuff with Team Taz is over. We've been talking about before. I don't think he's really resonating that much as a babyface. So I don't know how. I mean, Cage, of course, we know is great in the ring. I mean, we know that much. But as far as a babyface run, I don't know how well it will do for him. But I think maybe him being aligned with Punk, that probably would help his star power quite a bit. If Punk, handpicks Brian Cage to go up against Team Taz. I mean, I feel like that could at least give Brian Cage at least a pretty significant rub. So.
Yeah. Speaking of Powerhouse Hobbs, we had a showcase match with him. This was basically a showcase match for Hobbs. One-on-one with Dante Martin. Dante Martin has gotten over ever since that performance in Pittsburgh, so good on him, man. He had another pretty solid performance tonight against Powerhouse Hobbs, but this was all about Hobbs as he's number 2 in the rankings, and he's probably going to have a match against CM Punk soon. Match ended when Dante Martin was running to the top rope, I think, and Hobbs caught him in a beautiful spine buster for the win. And we're now just building up Powerhouse Hobbs for the eventual match against CM Punk, whether that happens on whether that happens in 2 weeks at Grand Slam or that happens on a future Dynamite episode. I'm not sure, but I feel like we're gonna get that match before we get CM Punk against Ricky Starks. And if you're Powerhouse Hobbs, man, you came in 1 year ago, and 1 year later you're in a feud against CM Punk. You got to be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't think anybody's any more excited right now than Powerhouse Hobbs, man. It's great to see the growth of all this young talent, man. It's just going to continue to get better from here on out, and I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing what Team Taz and CM Punk do together.
Absolutely, man, and he'll be a champion in no time. You think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at Hobbs and how much better he's been getting each time you see him. I feel like he's just getting more, slightly more and more better each time we see him being. And you mentioned Joseph's spine buster, man. He's got one of the best spine busters in the business today, man. I mean, that guy, he might have he might very well have the best. I mean, the elevation he gets just simply off of that spine buster, man, is beautiful, especially the way he did it to Dante Martin. I got to give credit to Dante Martin, man. I mean, golly, man, this guy continues to amaze me with his athletic ability every time I see him. I mean, people are calling him Spider-Man now, and it's like, you know what? He could very well be Spider-Man for all it's like. Forget Tom Holland. I think Dante Martin might actually be Spider-Man. He might be the one we're seeing in the new upcoming movie with Spider-Man. But But yeah, got to give credit to Dante though. I mean, he had a really good performance here against Powerhouse Hobbs. I love the whole tope over the top rope over hook. I mean, that was just a thing of beauty, man. This guy, he makes so many things look so effortless. Meanwhile, if I tried to do it, I'd break probably every bone in my body. But it goes to show you, man, it takes a lot of training and a lot of work to get to that level, man. And the fact that Dante Martin, again, he's only 20 years old. I mean, can you imagine what it'll be in the next 10? It's going to be great to see all this young talent continue to grow and continue to shine in all elite wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be remembered as the night MJF destroyed Cincinnati. If it was not for the segment with I don't know. This is right up there with my favorite segment on the night. I don't know, man. It's a tough call, but this segment was fucking phenomenal. MJF came out, bruise all over. He's saying, "Cut my music, cut my music." We get chance of "you tapped out." I expected that immediately when he came out. He's like, "Oh, he's gonna get you tapped out chance." He's gonna be like, and then he was like, "I got cheated on Sunday, and I got 3 wins over Jared Blow, and even though he's still here, I beat him 3 times, and he only beat me once, and I pinned him clean in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. So technically, I'm 4-1 against Jericho." And he then went off against Cincinnati. He went off on Cincinnati, calling them the worst city in the world. How disgusting they are. Pathetic slob human beings. Everything in Cincinnati's mid. The Cincinnati Reds are mid. I'm sure you like that one. So
yeah, I don't mind. Just as long as you don't talk bad about my St. Louis Cardinals, I think we're good, MJF. So.
Oh, if when AEW gets to St. Louis in a couple months, he's gonna take shots at Albert Pujols.
Oh man, you know what? I'm praying we don't get an MJF segment. Then I'm sorry. One night I can't get an MJF segment. Sorry, Maxwell, but I'm not gonna allow you to talk bad about my Cardinals, man. Those are especially not Albert Pujols, man. My favorite player of all time. How dare you? You better not step on that line, my friend.
So this was the best part of this segment. He then talks about Linda Pillman sitting on the first row. He's talking about Dark Side of the Ring and how pathetic she was on Dark Side of the Ring, and her daughter sitting right next to her, 16 years old and pregnant. I mean, dude, I laughed so loud from that line. He's like, "Is your daughter who's 16 years old and probably pregnant?" I don't know how he said she got pregnant, but oh my god, that was hilarious. He then went on his outside and he gave her a microphone. Do you know what she said?
I believe she was. I think she was just putting over. Yeah, she's the daughter of Bryan Pillman. She was putting over the city of Cincinnati. Just putting over the hometown.
So anyway, out comes Bryan Pillman to the Varsity Blondes theme. He's wearing a Cincinnati Bengals jersey, and he's like, "Well, you're living in Long Island, New York, but in my city in Cincinnati, when I came up on the streaks, Maxwell, welcome to the jungle." He then speed walks down the ring. He then gets into Wardlow's face. Wardlow gets into his face. Wardlow starts pushing him. He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, Wardlow, back up, big guy. What are you gonna defend Bryan Pillman because you weren't there for me on Sunday night when I needed you?" And then that got a big "oh" from the crowd. And he's like, "Go sit in the corner and be a pretty boy." So Wardlow was obviously not happy about this one. He stands in the corner. He's not even looking at what's going on. So MJF and Pillman are brawling, and Wardlow, Wardlow grabs Pillman, starts to attack him. Pillman gets him down. MJF and Pillman brawl. MJF gets Pillman down. Out came Griff Garrison to a clothesline from Wardlow, and then he took a Dynamite diamond ring right to the face. So this segment was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You know what? As amazing and uh as amazing and exciting as it was seeing as it was exciting and amazing seeing Bryan Danielson and Omega in the same ring tonight, teasing a match. This was my favorite segment. I'm gonna say it right now. This was my favorite segment tonight. Then this led to a backstage segment with the Varsity Blondes in the training room. Alex Marvez is back there, and Brian Pillman said he talked to Tony Khan, and he wants revenge. And at 2 weeks at AEW Grand Slam, it's going to be Brian Pillman Jr. 1-on-1 against MJF. And then Max Caster and the Acclaimed walked into the doctor's room, and Max Caster said that on Friday he's got a match 1-on-1 against Brian Pillman Jr. So looks like what we said earlier, man. It looks like Brian Pillman is going to be getting a singles push in AEW. What do you think about all of this?
I think it's great, man. Brian Pillman, for those who haven't seen his work before AEW, I mean, this guy is very, very talented. He's a great young superstar, man. And I mean, if you watch his work in MLW, you'll know how great he is. And I think him and MJF, I feel like that's going to be a match that people probably sleep on, but once it does happen on the 22nd Arthur Ashe, a lot of people will be talking about it. And what an opportunity this is for Brian Pillman, man. I mean, the guy's only 28 years old. He's still very, very young. And, and they're giving him this big opportunity for a singles run. And I feel like this could eventually go down between him and CM Punk eventually somewhere down the line, because CM Punk did mention in the list of wrestlers he was really interested in facing from AEW, Brian Pillman Jr. was one of those very superstars, along with the ones we've already talked about with Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, and Brian Pillman, again, another one of those names. And so maybe somewhere down the line we'll end up seeing Punk and Pillman, but right now Pillman's got a date with the Max Caster this Friday on Rampage, and then on the 22nd he's got MJF 1-on-1. But I'm really enjoying this, and of course this segment. What a great segment. I mean, any segment involving MJF is going to be an amazing segment. Folks, if you've been watching AEW as long as myself and Joseph have, you'll know that any segment involving Maxwell Jacob Friedman is going to be an amazing segment. And, of course, tonight, man, probably one of the best segments MJF's ever delivered to date, man. This guy has no chill. This guy, if there's one way to describe MJF, the guy has no chill. He will not stop berating everybody and everything. And so nobody is safe from the words of MJF. So I think that's something there. And then something that really stuck out to me too is I think the seeds are finally now being planted for MJF and Wardlow to go to blows, man. I think now this is probably what's really coming next when you talk about big time feud with MJF, because right now this feud with Pillman is just for the it's just I'm not going to say filler, I don't want to do that to Brian, but it's something for the interim right now until we get, I believe, the next big feud with MJF, and that is Wardlow eventually turning on MJF. The thing that has been teased, if you remember going all the way far back, MJF's feud with Jon Moxley, at Wardlow, I believe he picked up that AEW world title in the ring and he looked at it, and then I think he gave it over to MJF. I believe that's how the segment went, but that was a very long time ago. And that right there, I feel like, was the very first seeds planted for this big feud between Wardlow and MJF. And I feel like eventually this is what we're going to get as the next big feud. But I'm happy we have moved past the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. I'm happy we're past that point now. I was really hoping after All Out we'd be done. And I think Sammy Guevara even mentioned in his log the other day that it was the end of the feud and that there's not going to be any more Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. So it's nice to see both factions move on and do their separate things. That's the whole big thing about pay-per-views. After the pay-per-view, you expect pretty much every feud to move on, and we see new, fresh matchups, and that's exactly what we're going to get going forward.
Absolutely, man. And I don't know. Do we do MJF and Wardlow now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else you really could have for MJF at the
And
moment because it seems like everybody else is kind of booked up right now when you think about like certain feuds that are probably going to play out.
who goes over as well?
I feel like
I feel like Wardlow could use a huge win. I really do.
yeah. Yeah, it could really. I feel like Wardlow would benefit better. MJF is MJF. I don't think we got anything to worry about. It. People will worry that MJF was done after this one loss to Chris Jericho. No, he's got 3 wins over Chris Jericho. Still, that's still something he can flaunt. Losing once to Chris Jericho is not going to kill his career. But people love to jump to conclusions and love to make speculations like, oh, this person lost. Oh, that they're done. They're over. That's it for them. They're done. No, MJF is MJF. He's going to make sure that he's still one of the top guys in the business.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And he's the future world champion in the next year. I'm telling you right now. So, Ruby Soho, 1-on-1 against Jamie Hayter. This match was decent. Was not bad. Could this match have been better in my opinion? Absolutely. It was a little bit sloppy. They showed that, they didn't have much chemistry, but it was decent for what it was. Ruby got the win with the former Riot Kick. I don't know what her new finisher name is now, but the feud started with Ruby Soho and Britt Baker, and way before this match, Britt Baker was in an interview segment with Tony Schiavone, and she dropped a line of saying, "You can run away back to catering where you sat for 4 years." Unfortunately, that's true. So, Britt Baker is just dropping truth bombs on AEW Dynamite, but I like that. That makes the feud more personal between these two, and they go way back now. I didn't know that. I did not know that they went way back, and I think um, I think they're going to take their time with this one. I think they're going to build this up for a long period of time. I don't think we're getting this match until Full Gear, and we're getting 6-woman tag Friday night on Rampage when it's going to be Jamie Hayter, Rebel, Britt Baker against Chris Statlander, Ruby Soho, and there's someone else I can't. Riho, yes. So that's that. I'll give it to you, and then we'll get to the Pinnacle and the Dark Order.
Yeah, decent match. Yeah, it could have gone a little better. I think Ruby Soho is, she's been a free agent for quite some time, so she's probably still trying to find her footing a little bit in the ring. And Jamie Hayter, I think she's great, but like you said, Joseph, the chemistry might have been off there, but I'm not worried about it. Ruby Soho is great, and she's gonna have a lot of amazing matchups in AEW, and I'm ultimately just so happy for her. I mean, you can tell she is already having a blast, and that seems to be the typical format with anybody coming into AEW. They just come on in and they feel free, they feel open, they feel like, man, I'm on top of the world right now, man. Look at everybody around me. They're chanting my name. They're singing along to my theme song. I mean, it's a great time, man, and it's always a great time in AEW. And now we got a 6-woman tag booked for Rampage this Friday. Riho, Chris Statlander, and Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter. It should be a solid 6-woman tag. I'm looking forward to that. We got our whole card set up for Rampage with Max Caster versus Bryan Pillman. We got the 6-woman tag, and of course, the big match. We were supposed to get it all out. Pac versus Andrade. I cannot wait for that match. I'm so ready for that match to happen. I mean, Joseph, could you imagine if we had actually had that match on Sunday, knowing that this pay-per-view this past Sunday was AEW's best to date? Imagine if we had gotten that Pac versus Andrade match on that same card, how much better the pay-per-view would have been because of that. That would, I couldn't even imagine how more amazing it would have been.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So moving on, we had the Pinnacle 1-on-1 against the Dark Order, and by the way, I should not have looked on Twitter because people are already talking about Friday night's match with Pac versus Andrade. I don't know who won the match, but people who are at the stadium, at the arena, are already talking about how amazing that match was. So I cannot wait until Friday.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I'm not surprised whatsoever, man. Two world-class athletes and those two men. I mean, my goodness, gonna be Friday already, man. Jeez.
I don't know who won the match, but uh, apparently their match was amazing, and that alone makes me excited for Friday night. So anyway, got a little bit off track. I should not have looked on Twitter, but we had the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Johnny Hungy against FTR and Sean Spears. This was really not about the match. This was just to get the pinnacle on the show. I feel like they got the win after, I believe, Dax Harwood pinned John Silver with the big rig. The pinnacle immediately ran to the stage, and then once they leave, you see the members of Dark Order all pissed off. Uno is going to get in John Silver's face. Grayson's going to get in Silver's face as well. Then the rest of the members of Dark Order get in the ring as well. There's a lot of pushing and shoving. Um, Alan Angels takes down Stu Grayson. They brawl. Uh, Ten is brawling with Evil Uno. Colt Cabana is playing the role of Peacemaker. We don't know where he's in at this one. Alex Reynolds hasn't been on the show in God knows how long. Um, the Dark Order is crumbling, and it's crumbling very fast. You got Anna Jay and Ty Conti out there trying to get them to fix their problems and solve all of this. I don't think that's gonna work. Um, the writing is on the wall, and the writing is on the wall that this storyline is going to lead to Bray Wyatt coming to AEW to fix the Dark Order, and we're going to get a new version of the Dark Order, and they're going to kick out members one by one by one by one. It's probably going to start with 5 and then 10. Silver, Reynolds. I don't know if I don't know what's going on with Colt Cabana, but I could see the new Dark Order being Bray, Uno, Grayson, and somebody else. I don't know. But what do you think about all of this Dark Order brawling and Dark Order fighting, dude?
Yeah, you know, it's heartbreaking to watch as a pro wrestling fan. I mean, you got, you know, as a Dark Order fan, it's any Dark Order fan watching out there, it's tough to watch. But you know,
I
I really am intrigued by that idea. Wyndham Rotunda, the former Bray Wyatt, coming in to become the new leader of the Dark Order, and then, you know, deleting members one by one. That certainly is an interesting way they could go. Personally, I was thinking that, you know, we of course know Hangman Page is eventually coming back to challenge Omega for the world title for Full Gear. That is the only man who should be beating Kenny Omega for the world championship. And I honestly saw it as he was going to come back and he was going to be the one to possibly restore the Order of Dark Order. But I like that idea as well. I might like it a little bit more. Wyndham Rotunda, I mean, you know, of course we know the relationship with Bray Wyatt and Brody Lee and their history together and how they were as close as brothers. And I'm sure that would be great for Wyndham Rotunda. I'm sure he would be very pleased with coming in and joining up with the Dark Order, and we could see a more sinister Dark Order. You know, with I mean, you have a creatively free Bray Wyatt on your hands. I mean, anything is possible. So I could very well see that. That's definitely an interesting way they can go about it. So time will definitely tell. I feel like it's either between Wyndham Rotunda or Hangman Page at this point.
I mean, listen. I don't really think Hangman Page fits for the Dark Order. It fit for the time being when Brody unfortunately passed and the Dark Order turned baby faces and Hangman super over. It worked then. I don't feel like Hangman Page. I don't feel like Hangman Page being with the Dark Order makes sense right now. So, but we will get to Hangman Page in a little bit because you mentioned that you mentioned Hangman and Omega at Full Gear.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, the next segment, my God, so much shit happened in this segment. It's hard to keep up with, but it's amazing at the same time. This segment was great. Absolutely loved it. We got an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone, the Elite. Um, Nick Jackson introduces Adam Cole, and Adam Cole, once it's all done, he immediately gets in Tony Schiavone's face. Oh man. And he's like, listen, I know what you've got going on with Britt Baker. And if you look at her in a weird way, ever, ever again, I am going to legit kick your ass. Now walk and leave my ring. And he walked out the ring as slow as possible, and that made the thing even funny. And Adam Cole said something like, "My God, you couldn't go any slower."
Calling
That
him a
was,
nerd. You kind of kept calling him a nerd like multiple times. Called him
yeah,
like a nerd like 5 times. I was like, gosh, Adam Cole is the best.
leave you nerd.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So Adam Cole's talking this promo with being with the Young Bucks, being with Kenny, um, all that stuff, being in the best promotion in the world. He says that he's gonna have his in-ring debut next week on Dynamite, and he then passes the microphone to Mr. Omega. He's about to close out the segment. He says, "Well, we got one little problem in the room." Out comes Bryan Danielson, and Omega says, "Cut the music, cut the music." And Omega's like, guys, clear the ring. I'm going to have this one between me and him. So Omega invites Bryan. I can't believe we're getting this, dude. We got freaking Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega in the same ring in 2021. If you told me last year this was going to happen, I'd be like, dream match scenarios are fun, but I don't really think this is going to be a reality. But here we are, 1 year later. It's a freaking reality. But uh, Omega talks to Danielson, and Danielson takes the microphone, snatches it away from Omega, and he's like, "Listen, you call yourself the best wrestler in the world, saying no one's on your level, right?" Omega's like, "Yeah, right." He's like, "Well, I think you're afraid of a match with me. You're afraid to go one on one with me. So, what do you say?" And the crowd's going nuts, honestly. The crowd's chanting, "Yes, yes, yes." Omega is about to respond, but he attacks Bryan. The rest of the members of the Elite attack Bryan. Um, Jurassic Express and Christian Cage, they come running out, and they get a huge brawl with those four guys in the Elite. They clear house. The corporate stooge, Brandon Cutler, is stuck in the ring, surrounded by 6 men. Uh, he then takes a running knee from Bryan Danielson, and this this thing accomplished 2 new feuds. Now we got Jungle Boy versus Adam Cole, and freaking Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. This segment was amazing, and I don't even care that there was too much in this segment. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Now, before I let you speak, um, obviously we saw the seeds planted for a Danielson and Omega match. I don't think that's happening at Arthur Ashe Stadium. I think at Arthur Ashe in 2 weeks, I think the main event on that show is going to be a either a 6-man tag with Danielson and Jurassic Express against Omega and the Young Bucks, or it'll be an 8-man tag with Danielson, Jurassic Express, and Christian Cage against Omega, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole. So I see one of those 2 matches being the main event of Grand Slam in 2 weeks. When I think the world title match is going to happen is Full Gear. I think we're going to get Danielson and Omega for the world title at Full Gear because Hangman requested time off to be with his wife because his wife is going to give birth soon. Who knows when his wife's due? I don't know when it's due. It could be due this month, November, October. Who knows? I don't know. So with that happening, I feel like AEW is going to put Danielson and Omega as the main event of Full Gear, and then some either at the end of this year on a Dynamite or at Revolution of 2022. That will be when Hangman Page defeats Kenny Omega for the World Championship. It's a lot to take in there, but that's the way I see things going. But man, I'm just excited. We're getting a potential Bryan Danielson Kenny Omega match for the AEW World Championship, the most prestigious championship in all of wrestling. You gotta love. I love pro wrestling, man. You gotta love pro wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, especially with Danielson being my favorite too. I mean, like this just makes it even that much sweeter. I mean, I even seen the picture today from somebody booking All In 2 and how Danielson and Omega were both on that card and how like I think every person who's on that card, looking back at it and like they're like, wow, all these matches could actually possibly happen now because all these guys were like there's like New Japan talent, you got talent that's already in AEW now, and it's like, wow, it's crazy how this was something that was pitched as like fantasy booking, and now it's like it could potentially happen. But I like that idea a lot, and you're right. Paige is off right now to tend to his pregnant wife and their upcoming child. So that's obviously, and of course that's a big moment there, and so of course, I wish all the best to Hangman and his wife, and I hope everything goes well with that. But yeah, I mean, Hangman, who knows how much time off he requested? We don't know the deals, and we don't need to know the details. I mean, as long as he needs, I mean, but so. If they want to hold off Page and Omega for a little bit longer, I could see that, and we can do Danielson and Omega Full Gear. If I'm going to Full Gear and I see that match live, best believe I'm not going to be too upset about that. But yeah, that's I could definitely see it going that way. And I even was thinking after All Out too that the 8-man tag with Cage, Jurassic Express, and Danielson versus the Elite of Young Bucks, Omega, and Cole. So I feel like I feel like if I had to choose, I'd probably choose the 8-man to happen at Arthur Ashe. I feel like that's more likely of a scenario. And what a massive match that would be. So, things are really shaping up, man. At the end of the day, we're getting some amazing wrestling matches out of this. And I think us, the fans, should just be thankful that, man, it is just a wonderful time to be a wrestling fan. And we're getting blessed with so much. And it's like, we just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful for everything that's going on with AEW and wrestling right now. Like, this is incredible. What we're seeing right now, the possibilities are endless, and you love that. So, got some match announcements. Of course, Friday night on Rampage, we got Brian Pillman Jr. versus Max Caster. We got Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel against Chris Statlander, Ruby Soho, and Riho. And then we got, of course, Pac versus Andrade El Idolo. So that should be a fun night on Friday. Next week, AEW Dynamite is going to be in Newark, New Jersey. No, I am not going. I'm moving that weekend. I have work that Friday, so hope you all understand. And then plus it's 2 hours away from my house, so no, I will not be going to the show next week, but I will be going to the show October 23rd when I'm in Orlando, Florida, so that will be fun. But next week we got the debut of Adam Cole, baby. And I thought it was going to be against Jungle Boy, but I'm glad it's not. It's going to be against Frankie Kazarian next week. We got Jade Cargill versus legit Layla Hirsch. And we got Darby Allin versus Shawn Spears. I think that's all that's announced right now, right?
I believe so. I don't believe there's anything else
Yes.
at the moment. So.
All right, yeah. So that's amounts for next week's Dynamite. And I actually know a lot of people going to the show next week, so hope they all have fun at the show. Um, Main event of tonight, though, we had Minoru Suzuki against Cincinnati's own Jon Moxley. And, I was pissed off before the match started because freaking during Suzuki's entrance, they freaking cut off Kazai ni Mare. Like, dude, why they have to do that?
AEW turned heel on us tonight with that. Come on now. You can't be doing that to Minoru. Suzuki will literally kill you. He probably went to the back. He probably barged into Tony Khan's office and probably like got him in a chokehold or something. He's like, you don't cut off my entrance music again, you son of a bitch.
You fucker.
Yeah. Yeah, but this was it was short. It was a short main event, but for what it was hard hitting as you would expect, and it was great. And seeing Moxley getting that hometown reception, man. I mean, it was beautiful to see. Love me some Jon Moxley, man. And man, he is just that dude is so big now, man. I look at this guy like, golly, Moxley looks so badass now, and it's so cool to see.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he bulked up big, man. Like I saw somebody with a picture of him from like 2015 and then a picture of him now. And I'm like, golly, man, Moxley would take, I think he ate his former self. And now that's what he is. And so it's just, Moxley's bulked up and it's great. And this match with Suzuki was really nice. I wish it would have gone on a little longer, but it was great for what it was. And then Suzuki with him bleeding from the eye. I'm not sure how exactly that really happened. I'm guessing maybe a stiff forearm, maybe you might have done it, but it was a great shot there. And then Moxley finished Suzuki off with the paradigm shift, and the show ends with Moxley just celebrating with the hometown crowd and sending the fans home happy. And when you're watching AEW, you're always sending the fans home happy. So that was a great last moment of the show. But I think it capped off a really solid fallout from All Out. And man, we got the Arthur Ashe show to look forward to, and all the big matchups going to be set up for that. We already got a couple big matchups announced, and it's going to be fun, man. I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, man. Very, very exciting stuff. And, it's just a great time to be a wrestling fan, man. It's a great time to be alive. So, I want to thank you guys for joining us for the review tonight. Be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. We are at 414 subscribers. Hopefully, we can get that up to 420 very, very soon. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Comment down below your thoughts about tonight's great episode of AEW Dynamite. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me and Wesley Williams in tonight's review. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, at Conlon_Joseph. Wes, where can they follow you on your socials?
You already know, BIG_WES18. That is big_Wes18 on Twitter. I tweet about AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights. And of course, I'm on here to talk AEW Dynamite with Joseph Conlon. And of course, Friday nights, I talk about AEW Rampage, not only on Twitter, but on here on Big Fight Field with Joseph Conlon and our good friend Cameron Johnson. So, folks, you better be staying tuned for this Friday night as we will be talking AEW Rampage, and we'll be talking that big Pac versus Andrade one-on-one match, along with the other stuff that we have to look forward to on Friday. And folks, make sure you follow us, give this video a like, comment down below what was your favorite part about AEW Dynamite tonight. And of course, subscribe to Big Fight Field. Get those numbers up. We need those numbers up. So subscribe to Big Fight Field. It would mean a lot to myself, and it would especially mean a lot to Joseph Conlon there. So folks, please, if you will, subscribe if you like what you heard from myself and Joseph Conlon. We will see you this Friday night for AEW Rampage with our good friend Cameron Johnson. The three-man booth is back on Friday nights. We had a little bit of a break last week, but we're back. Three-man crew is back for Fridays, and folks, we can't wait to talk about it.
Cam, if you're watching this, buddy, and I know you are, we cannot wait to have you back on the channel Friday night to talk about what what I heard, an amazing match between Pac and Andrade. But before then, I will see you guys for tomorrow night's season opener recap with the Dallas Cowboys against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I will see you guys tomorrow night for that. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, man, stay classy.